Okay. When we come to uniform motion is really simple. Uniform motion means basically velocity is constant. So in equal time interval, it will always cover equal distance in equal time interval. So uniform motion, we can say velocity is constant, and in both in terms of direction as well as magnitude. So actually you should write V bar is constant. And in that case, other way to define is it will cover equal distance in equal time interval. And since velocity is constant, velocity is not changing, it means A is equal to 0. Acceleration is 0. That's a uniform motion. So let's look at some cases of uniform motion in case of one-dimensional motion. Let's look at few questions one by one and see how do we understand those questions well and solve with good comprehension. So let's first question, clock has its second hand 2 centimeter long. And suppose the figure was not given. Even if figure is not given, we should be able to visualize the figure. And wherever required, we should draw a figure, either on paper or at least in our mind. So clock has, this is 2 centimeter long. So length of this clock, assume that this is the second end of a clock. This is length is 2 centimeter. Okay. And what is given here? Find average speed and modulus of average velocity. Why I written modulus here? Okay, average velocity is a vector quantity. We are only interested in its magnitude, okay, of the tip of the second hand in 15 seconds. So which particle, see, when it moves, after 15 seconds, what may happen? It may come to this position. So this part of the second hand, it has moved here. But we are not interested in different parts of the second hand. We are only interested in motion of the tip. So if I look at the tip has followed this path, and this was my initial position, and tip has moved to the tip of the second has moved to this final position. These are the 2 points I'm interested in. All cases of motion, in case of one dimension, later on also, is all relates to motion of a point object or a point-like object. So here also this point moves from here to here. Now what is average speed? For average speed, I need to find displacement. So in this case, what will be the displacement here? Displacement will be along this path, length of this path, this tip has followed. So what would be, distance, path length will be equal to, what will path length be equal to? If I have to write path length, how do we define the path length here? The first thing what I understood, yeah, so motion of a point. We have understood it is a motion of a point. Which point? Tip of the second hands. So we need to understand, and then what is the path length here? Path length will be equal to 1/4 of the perimeter of circle. It is circular path, arc of a circle. So path length will be actual length of the actual path taken, will be 1/4 of the circle, and 1/4 of perimeter, which is equal to 2 pi r. I can substitute. And what would be magnitude of displacement here? How do we calculate magnitude of displacement here? For displacement, first of all, I need to find displacement vector. How do I find displacement vector? I find displacement vector by connecting, it's a vector quantity. So I connect this initial point to my final point by an arrow. Where's the tail of the arrow? Initial point. Where's the head of the arrow? The final point. This is my displacement vector. I'm interested in its magnitude. So what will be its magnitude here? Magnitude is simple to find. If r is the radius, magnitude will equal to √2 times is forming a right angle triangle. Okay, so magnitude, this will be equal to hypotenuse. So this also is fairly simple. If I take the length to be r, it will be equal to √2r. So we have found both the things. Now we talk about, so once I have path length, what will be the average speed? I divide by path length or distance traveled by time, which will be equal to pi r by 2, r being the length of the, and divide by 15. And if I take r in centimeters, the unit will come equal to centimeter per second. If I take in meter, it will come into meter per second. And similar way, average velocity, magnitude, we are talking only about its magnitude, will be equal to √2r by 15 seconds. This is a simpler one. Let's look at the next one. This also some of you might have done. And many cases will start with, so it's a wheel of radius r, rolls forward half a revolution on a horizontal ground. What is the magnitude of displacement of the point of the wheel initially in contact with the ground? So again, it's a motion of a point. Can we mark the point? It's pretty clear here. This is the wheel we have shown. Even if figure is not drawn, we should be able to draw a figure. And this is the point which is in contact. And this is on the wheel. How would this point move by the time it completes half a revolution? If it completes half a revolution, if it completes one full revolution, it means it will move by a distance equal to its perimeter. If it completes what is mentioned here, rolls forward by half a revolution, it means it will move forward by a distance equal to half the perimeter. So if how much distance it has covered a distance equal to, so this point, it has covered this much distance. So what is this distance from here to here? Half the perimeter. Okay. Now, what are we have to check here? What you have to find? Magnitude of displacement. So by the time as it keeps rolling, this particle will keep going. When it completes half the revolution, the point which was at the top has come to the bottom, and the point which is at the bottom should have come to the top. So where will be the final position of P? P dash will come here. This is a position. So what is the magnitude of displacement? It's pretty simple. I draw first of all displacement vector. How do I draw a displacement vector? From the initial point, arrow pointing from initial point to the initial position to final position. This is the displacement vector. We don't have to find its components or not the direction. We just need to find the magnitude. If you have to find this magnitude, most cases we use the property of right angle triangle. So if I complete this point as mark as M perpendicular here, what will be magnitude? Magnitude is equal to PP dash. How much is PP dash equal to? Right angle triangle property. It will be equal to root of P dash M square plus PM square. What is P dash M square? If the radius is R, this length will be diameter. This will be 2R. And half the perimeter will be equal to pi into R. So what is the answer here? This will be pretty simple. P dash M square plus PM square will be equal to pi R whole square plus 2R whole square. And of course, R can be taken out. And what is left is root of pi square plus 4. Let's look like next one. A particle moves alongside A to B. From here, this is starting point. This is my initial point. First, it moves from A to B, and from then B to C, and then C to D. Each side of the square is 25 meters. So this also is 25 meters. This also is 25 meters, and this also, all are 25 meters and all. With a speed of 15 meters per second. What is his average velocity? Okay. So to find average velocity, first I need to talk about, whenever we talk about how do you find out average velocity here? Average velocity, first we need to find what is average velocity equal to. We are interested in average velocity. This also magnitude only. So what is magnitude of average velocity? Is equal to magnitude of displacement by time. Magnitude of displacement divided by time. So in this case, displacement is easy to find. From where to where? This is the initial one, and this is the final position. From here, by the time it reaches from A to D, what is the average velocity it had? To find displacement, again I draw a vector, which is an arrow starting from initial point, ending at the final point. The length of the arrow indicates magnitude, which is equal to 25 meters. So displacement magnitude is equal to 25 meters. Now question comes about time. What is the time it has taken? Time taken we'll have to find. See, it has moved from here to here. How much time it has taken to move from A to B? From A to B will be how much time it is taken? This is equal to distance by speed. So what is the distance here? Distance is 25 meters and speed is 15 meters per second. Thus the TAB, this will be equal to TCB also, and it will be equal to TCD. So total time will be equal to 3 times of this. So delta time, total time taken will be thrice this value. 3 into 25 by 15. So easily you can find. That's also a simple question. You can easily find. Okay. Now this question, both of you try and solve. So I give a couple of minutes, try and solve this question. A particle is moving along a circular path of radius r. First quarter of a circle, it travels with the speed v, and then covers third of a circle with the speed 2v, and finally remaining part with speed 3v. Find its average speed. Now we'll find average speed, not the velocity. The average velocity will come to 0. It will come to the finally remaining part. So can we find an answer? Dev, can you solve this question? Yes or no? If you are not clear, I'll explain. If you think you can solve, I'll skip it.
Sir, I'm not clear.
Not clear. Ananya? Sure or not sure?
So I haven't started solving yet. One second.
That's okay. Doesn't matter.
But I think I can do it. It's pretty.
See, it actually is not difficult a question, but still, see, this is something. See, I can reword this question. How do I reword the question? Just pay attention there. And sometimes some question, if we just change the way we approach the question, it becomes much simpler. And what is a circular path? This circular path is creating doubt in our mind. But what is circular path? It is traveling a total distance equal to how much? 2 pi r. So let me assume what is the perimeter equal to? I assume the perimeter equal to d. Can I assume this? I assume the perimeter equal to d there. So let me do now. The first quarter of a circle. When it travels first quarter of the circle means how much distance is travel in terms of d? Quarter of a circle means travels a distance d by 4. It travels d by 4 with what is speed? Speed v. Then it covers a third of a circle. What does third of a circle means? 1/3 of the total distance, d by 3 with the speed 2v. What is the remaining part means? What is the total remaining part left more? Remaining part is d minus whatever is already been covered. D minus d by 4 minus d by 3, which is equal to 5d by 12. So this is a question is equivalent to this question. I could put in simpler words. This is simpler form of the same question. Is it same statement? Dev, have you understood? Is it the same thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, so now it becomes a little simpler. Now I have to calculate speed, average speed. What is speed equal to? Speed is still equal to speed. Always I can use this formula. Speed is equal to total distance by total time. Total distance divided travel by total time. What is the total distance we are traveling here?
Sir, D.
What is total? D only. But time is now. Now I'll calculate time. This is d by 4 with the traveling speed v. What is the time taken? Time taken for the first part of journey is d by 4 divided by time. How much is, so what is t1 equal to? D by 4 v.
Yes.
Second part of journey, distance is d by 3 and speed is 2v. And third time t3 is equal to how much? 5d by 12 divided by 3v. So what is my total time taken? Total time taken when I calculate here total time, delta t will be equal to t1 plus t2 plus t3. Is that difficult to calculate?
No, sir.
No, you can easily calculate. So I understood, even if the circle also, many times making an assumption of certain quantity makes it a lot simpler. Very easily you can do that. Okay. This also is a common and a little tricky question. Both of you read the questions again, and then we'll see how easily we can solve it. Particle moves in a straight line. Okay. Okay, before I solve this question, I hope this part both of you are clear. If an object travels equal distance with velocity v1 and v2, then what is the average velocity? And then what is the average velocity if it travels equal distance with velocity v1 and v2? Average velocity in this case
it is v1 plus v2 by t by 2.
2. Okay. How do we solve that one? Even if you don't have to remember any such formula here, it travels equal distance. But the equal means v1 also how much distance? Let's see the distance d, and v2 also the distance d. So what is the total speed? Is always total distance by time. What is total distance as traveled? 2d. Time taken is t1 and t2. T1 time is equal to what? D by v1, and second time is d by v2. Are these clear? If we simplify, how much it comes to? It comes to 2d divided by d is common. V1 plus V2 divided by V1 V2. D gets cancelled is equal to 2 V1 V2 divided by V1 plus V2. And then are you clear how you done that? If you don't remember the formula, what will happen? You interchange those two. So this is average velocity when equal distances with velocity V1 and V2. Dev, you would have done this also?
Yes, sir.
So similar way I asked different one. Understand the difference between the two. Object travels for equal time with velocity V1 and V2. Then what is average velocity? In this case, what will happen, since the distance were equal, we assume the distance to be d and d. Now time are equal, I'll assume this time also is t and this time also is t. So see, this is so easy to calculate, there's no need to memorize any formula. What is average speed? Total distance by total time. So what is the distance it has traveled? Distance here traveled is v1t and speed into time, and distance traveled is v2t. So what is total distance traveled? v1t plus v2t divided by 2. What is total time? Not t. Total time is 2t. Hence, average speed is v1 plus v2 by 2. Okay. Now coming to this question. So this is how it was. Now come to this question here. Let's see. Try to visualize the question here. What is the particle moving straight line covers half the distance? Let's see this from here to here. This was the total distance. From here to this was the total distance. Okay, from here to here. Half the distance is this. This half distance, what is the speed it has traveled? It has traveled the speed of 3 meters per second. Now the remaining part, what it has done, other half the distance is covered in equal time intervals with the speed of 4.5 meters per second and 7.5 meters per second. So here to here, it has taken, if it has traveled for time t, here this also is time t. Are you following this point? With equal time intervals. So what will happen? This distance will be smaller and this distance will be larger. Why is it that so? Because now it is faster time. So what is asking from, if I call, let me call this point as A, this point as B. So it has reached traveled from A to B, and this is C and C to D. Okay, and this looks a little complicated question, but what I can do, these two I can replace with average velocity. Then there will be only two velocities left. Can I replace them with average velocity? This is, they are traveling for equal time interval. So when they travel, object travels for equal time interval, what is the average velocity? Average velocity, this plus this by 2. So it is, see, whatever time it has taken with these two velocities, it would have taken same time had it been taken traveling with an average velocity. So what is the average velocity between C and D? What is average velocity between C and D, Dev?
Sir, average velocity between C and D is?
Huh? I think your voice is cut off. Dev? Ananya?
Sir, is the voice coming?
Yes.
Sir, yes, sir. The average velocity is 6 meters per second.
6 meters per second. Are you getting what I'm saying now? And
Yes,
for
sir.
the time, I'm forgetting this part. I'm focusing on this because two developed time intervals are equal. So I can replace these two velocity with one common velocity, which is the purpose of average velocity, which is v1 plus v2 by 2, which will be equal to 6 meters per second. Now my question, rather than having 3 velocity, now I have only how many? 2 velocities.
Yes, sir.
And then this distance A to C and this distance, both the distances are equal. So it is, this question is equivalent to this part now. What is the average velocity now? Now there are two velocities, 3 meters per second and 6 meters per second, for equal distance. Are you noticing, Ananya, why their distances are equal?
Yes.
And so what is the average velocity now for whole question? Average velocity will be equal to 2v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. What is necessary? I must understand these two things. Is it difficult to know these things? Not at all. These are two simple things. So I'm finishing every part. I'm writing everything here so that you miss anything, you go back and revise that part also. So what is my very quick thing? How much time I use this approach? How much time I take to solve this question? Very little. So 2 into 3 into 6 divided by 9. That's the average velocity, which is so quick to calculate, which will come equal to 4 meters per second. And this question you will find in every book, and this I'll solve with different methods and pretty lengthy methods also. Okay, that's what it is. So this is also, since because I have not written, this also is d by 2, this also d by 2. Both the distances are equal between C to D. Okay. I think this also looks I copied. Huh? Okay. That was something I think uniform motion is very simple part. Second part is uniformly accelerated motion. Okay. What is acceleration? Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. So rate of change velocity, first I need to, whenever we talk about rate of change in velocity, it means difference in this quantity divided by time it has taken. And since velocity is vector quantity, I didn't write it properly. It should be v2 bar minus v1 bar divided by t2 by t1. But in case of one-dimensional motion, no need to place a bar. Plus minus sign is enough in case of 1D motion. Despite the fact it's a vector quantity, plus minus sign takes care of direction. So acceleration or rate of change of velocity is equal to delta v by delta t. And if it is uniformly accelerated motion, this ratio is a constant. That's the definition of uniformly accelerated motion. It means acceleration is not changing. It's not changing with time. It remains constant. Okay. So that's a per definition. And graphically, what does this indicate? We have seen this quantity. What is which graph it will represent a slope? Which two quantities I should have a graph between? What should I have on the y-axis if I plot a graph? This quantity is similar to delta y by delta x. So what kind of graph I must have? This is the slope of velocity time graph. So graphically, delta v by delta t represents slope of velocity time graph, delta y by delta x kind of thing. And uniform acceleration implies that if this quantity is constant, it means slope is constant. What kind of graph we get if the slope is constant? If slope is constant, we get a straight line. So it uniformly accelerated motion, acceleration is constant, hence slope of velocity time graph constant, and it will be a straight line. Okay, that's a condition for uniformly accelerated motion. And second thing, what we understand, whenever we have graph, what is area under the curve? Area under the curve, y-x curve, we have y dx. In case of y-axis, we have v term. In case of x, we have dt. I have done it last time also. What would this term indicate? This term will indicate area under velocity time graph. So area under velocity time graph between two time interval is equal to displacement between time interval t1 and t2. Is this part understood, Dev? This statement?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying. But wherever not, rather than me asking every time, if any statement or any part is not understood, you can interrupt and ask me. Okay. So this term, that's why I'm asking, have you revised what you had done last time? And we have done this part, and this is display. So these are the two important property of uniformly accelerated motion. Slope indicates, if slope keeps changing, it means acceleration is changing. If slope is not changing, it means acceleration is constant. It is uniformly accelerated motion. And this area. So let's understand in terms of this. This is what kind of graph is this? This is velocity time graph. Let's try and understand what we understand from this velocity time graph. See, when we start from when time is 0, what is the velocity when the time is 0 here? What does this point represent? If at this point I look on the x-axis, x coordinate is 0, it means time is 0. This point represents 0 time. At 0 time, I find the y coordinate also 0. Y coordinate represents velocity. It means at initially this object has 0 velocity, starting from rest. But what is happening to velocity? It is increasing. As the time increasing, velocity is increasing, and rate of increase is constant. Rate of increase is constant. Rate of change of velocity. So any 2 point if I take this point as 1 and this point as 2. So this point may represent v1 t1 v1, and this point may represent t2 v2. Since it is a straight line, the slope is constant. If slope is constant, means v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1 is a constant. That's what we are saying here. So this, what does this indicate? Is starting from this kind of graph indicate object starting from rest with positive acceleration. Why it is positive? Because slope is positive. And this is from, I hope you understood why rest. Rest means when it's passing from origin. Why is v is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. Positive means slope is positive. I draw another graph. What is the difference between these two graphs here? At time t is equal to 0, velocity is positive. It means object is already moving in the positive direction. Initial velocity is positive and acceleration also is positive. Uniform acceleration. So this is the graph, VT graph for object which has initial velocity. Third case, if I look at what does this graph indicate? This graph indicates, yes, initial velocity is what happens is slowly decreasing. Okay, and in this case, the slope is negative. Negative slope indicates what? Slope is negative means acceleration is negative. This motion is called retardation. What is retardation? When acceleration is opposite to direction of velocity. Velocity is positive, acceleration is negative because slope is negative. So what will happen to this motion? It has certain velocity. As the time is increasing, what is the velocity keeps decreasing. What is the velocity of this object at this particular time here? Ananya, what is the velocity of this particle at this particular time?
So 0 meter per second square.
No,
So
because
0
zero.
meter per second.
And afterwards, what happens here? What will happen to velocity after this? What is velocity after this particular time? Is
It's
it positive or
becoming
negative?
negative.
Negative. What is negative means? Initially, the particle, let's understand here, the object will slow down because it continuously decreasing. So whenever velocity, and if I have to represent in terms of an arrow, if velocity is in this direction, acceleration is in the opposite direction, and we have taken this direction as positive. So velocity is positive, acceleration is negative. So what kind of motion this object will have? It will keep slowing down. After some time, velocity will become zero. That's called momentary rest. And then it reverses direction, it start moving backwards. So whenever, in case of uniformly accelerated motion, if velocity and acceleration are opposite to each other, as happens in the case of object which is thrown vertically upwards under gravity. What happens in case of gravity? We give upward velocity, but acceleration is acting downwards. Hence, object slows down, come to a momentary rest position. Why you call as momentary rest position? Velocity has become zero. But how long does the moment velocity remain zero? Only for a moment. That's called as a momentary rest. And this is a very simple but important point. Retardation, object will slow down, come to momentary rest and reverses direction. I hope all three graphs are understood, and please revise those things also properly so that it is very clear in your mind. Okay. And this is area gives a displacement, area under the curve. So graphically, okay. Let's take this particular case here. So this is what kind of case? Initial velocity, acceleration, both are positive. Okay. And this is the shape given. So what is the displacement between any two instances of time? If I find the area under the curve, that would indicate displacement for a given time interval. Okay. Okay, so let's take this case here. Suppose I take two instances of time. This is time t1, and at time t1, this is the velocity which is v1. Okay, and this is second instance of time t2, velocity is v2. So if I have to find what would this area represent, this is the area under the curve between time interval t1 and t2. What would this area indicate? This area, if it is indicates displacement between time t1 and t2. And how this area, can we calculate this area? This length is equal to delta t. What is this area? This is trapezoid. We know how to calculate the area. First side, this is average of the two sides multiplied by the perpendicular distance. So if I have to write, this side is height is equal to v1, this is equal to v2. So what is this area? Yeah, sorry, this is something I think not v1, u2. We had taken this as u, initial velocity, and this we had taken v as final velocity. Okay, so this height is v, this height is u. The normal convention take u and v. So what is this area? U plus v by 2 into time interval t. T we have taken as t2 minus t1. So that's the area. And if we rearrange the term and in place of v, if we substitute v is equal to u plus at, I get this equation. Now this equation. So this is something I'm very quick way. This is the graphical method of derivation which comes in your examination also, in board examination. So just from this equation, you just substitute v is equal to u plus at, you get this equation. So this is again to make you understand graphically what does it mean. Slope indicates acceleration. Positive slope means positive acceleration. Negative slope means negative acceleration. If line is horizontal, means unaccelerated motion. Initial and area under the curve between time t1 and t2 indicates displacement. Okay, if it is positive means displacement is positive. If area is below the x-axis, negative area, it indicates negative displacement. So in this equation, important point to keep in mind when we start solving question, it contains three vectors, all in one dimension. Which are the three vectors here? S also is a vector, U also is a vector, A also is a vector. And all must be substituted with appropriate sign. Okay, so we have to choose a direction as positive. Whichever are in the direction chosen to be positive should be substituted a positive value. All three are vectors. We should never forget that they're all vectors. And what does T represent here? T represents time interval. This is if we take initial time to be 0, then final time T is equal to time interval. Otherwise, T represents T2 minus T1, time interval here. And S represents displacement. Displacement is final position minus the initial position vector, which is just the x coordinate in 1D motion. So three equations. So here I am not writing v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus 1 by 2at square, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. All three equations involve two instances of motion with sign of vectors based on chosen sign convention. These are the main point we have to keep in mind while applying those equations. Three equations represent two instances of motion, two different values of time. So it will have two different positions also with sign of vectors based on chosen sign convention. So we have to choose a sign convention unless it is defined in the question, unless it is a routine one. So so all three quantities, if they are in the chosen direction, positive direction, put as plus. If not, opposite direction, substitute as minus value. Okay. Path length and all. And if I have to summarize these three things, this is what the summary of the table is. And all of you must be familiar, so I will not spend much time. What is delta R? Displacement is final position vector minus initial position vector. In case of 1D motion, it becomes simple. It's a x coordinate of the final position minus the x coordinate of initial position. What is average velocity? We have done with delta x by delta t. That was last time. That is x coordinate at time t2 minus x coordinate at time t1 divided by t2 minus t1. Instantaneous velocity when time interval becomes extremely small, which is derivative. Derivative of x position with reference to time. And this thing we can take this dt here, v into dt becomes dx, that's integration. So when I integrate, I get displacement. So in terms of graph, position time graph, what is average velocity? Slope of line connecting 2 points t1 and t2. That's what I explained in the previous session. What is instantaneous velocity at particular time? If I have to find instantaneous velocity, I draw a tangent to the curve at that particular instance of time. Slope of tangent will indicate instantaneous velocity. In case of VT graph, it will be delta V by delta T. Area under curve, that's what we discussed. Area under the curve in case of VT graph will indicate displacement in the time interval. Similarly, we have acceleration. Acceleration is equal to delta V by delta T. Instantaneous acceleration dV by dt. And it can also be written as d square x by dt square. V is equal to dx by dt. So if this also, if we have v acceleration can also be written as d by dt of v. V is equal to dx by dt. So it becomes equal to, thus we write d square x by dt square. Okay. And there's one more form we can write acceleration as v dv by dx. Because what he said, acceleration is what equal to? Acceleration is equal to dv by dt. I think I mentioned chain rule. So suppose I multiply by dx and divide by dx. And then what we do, we change the position of dx. It becomes equal to one term dx by dt. So one is dx by dt, other dv by dx. And what is dx by dt is equal to v. So there's two different forms we can write acceleration. One form is this form, other is v into dv by dx. This is not a new formula, very easily can arrive at. So these are the basic formula. These formulas we use only in calculus form, which will come to the last, maybe not so much now. We'll focus more on other parts, but this is in case of calculus part. This are we'll do mostly initially, maybe next 10 days or so without calculus, without differentiation and integration. Last part we can do some differentiation and integration also. Okay. one common thing what we need to understand, whenever direction of acceleration is opposite to direction of velocity, we call it as retardation. Just like applying, okay, so let's see. So when we throw an object vertically up, it suffers a retardation. That's a very typical example of uniform retardation. Acceleration being opposite to direction of velocity. So in terms of graph, if I draw, this is what the shape of graph will look like. So object will slow down, we just discussed. Let's apply, so let's take an example also. Suppose object is given a velocity at time t is equal to 0. It has velocity of 6 meters per second. Acceleration is in the opposite direction. That's why I put as a minus sign. No need to use a vector sign, a sign. Minus sign indicates the direction is opposite to direction of velocity. Let's see how we calculate different things in this particular situation. So velocity is 6 meters per second and is equal to minus 2 meters per second square at a particular instance of time. So first question, how much time when the object will come to momentary rest? How do we find an answer to this? How do we find time when object will come to momentary rest? This is the initial state. Okay, so how do we solve this question? Pretty simple. Again, based on acceleration is constant based on those three equations. So this is my initial, visually I should visualize how the motion is taking place, moving like this, slowing down and coming back. So what is the second point? What is the second point I need to choose here? I need to choose second instance when what is velocity? Second instance velocity is equal to 0. That's the second instance. First instance this. Second instance, as I said, every time we have to look at the second instance. So this is the time. This is second test. What is the value of v here? V at velocity at this point is 0. So these are two instances to which I need to apply. Which equation should I apply here? What I need to calculate here? Time I have to, two velocities are known. So u and v are known. Acceleration is known. What I need to calculate t. Which equation I'll use? I'll use equation v is equal to u plus at. I hope you understand which two instances. This is first instance of motion. This is second instance of motion. Second instance of motion, what is important? Since it has come to momentary rest, then velocity is given. When velocity is given and v is equal to 0. So I simply use this equation, v is equal to u plus at. It will give me the time when it comes to rest. A is equal to minus value. So this, in this case, a is negative. So what is t equal to? So actually, if I substitute in this equation, it will come as equal to v is equal to u minus at, and t will be equal to v is equal to 0. So t will be equal to u by a. That's the time it will take to come to momentary rest in this particular question after 3 seconds. So let's understand when velocity is 6 meters per second, and if acceleration is minus 2, what it means? Every second, after 1 second, what will the velocity? 4. After 2 second, velocity will become 2. After 3 second, velocity will become 0. After 4 second, velocity will become minus 2. That's what uniform acceleration means. It means velocity, this is at time t is equal to 0 is equal to 6 meters per second. At v1, at after t is equal to, after 1 second, it will be equal to u plus at. It will reduce by 2. It will become 4 meters per second. At time is equal to 2 seconds, it will become equal to 2 meters per second. At v is equal to 3 seconds, it will become equal to 0. And at v4, it will become equal to minus 2. It means to start traveling in the backward direction. That's why it in motion would be. That's why it will move like this, and at some point of time, after 3 seconds, it reverses and start traveling in the backward direction. Next question is distance traveled before coming to momentary rest. So what are things which are given here? Initial velocity is given. Final velocity is given. What you need to find? The distance traveled. You need to find s. So which equation should I use here? In this case also second instance. What are things to regard? S is given. We need to have equation which is s term and v is equal to 0. So which equation I have to use out of 3 equations? I think moment we think of here, since we have to find displacement, so figure should look something like this. S is equal to, sorry, in this case, we have to find, since 2 velocities are given, and I'm not interested in time. So we'll use equation v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So if we have to substitute here, what is v? V is equal to 0. U is equal to 6 square plus 2 A value is equal to -2 into S. So what is S equal to? So distance it will travel to before it coming to momentary rest will be equal to 36/4. Okay. Time taken to come back to initial position. What is the equation I'm going to use? How do I use this time taken to? What is the condition I'll apply for time taken to come back to initial point? Dev and Ananya can tell me what is the condition I should apply for time taken to come back to initial point.
So can you repeat the question?
Yeah, time taken to come back. So far, was it audible or not? Previous parts?
Yes, sir. I understood.
Yeah, this point. Time taken to come back to initial point. How much time it will take to come back to initial point? What are the terms we are dealing with? We are dealing with terms of velocity. See, all cases we are dealing with what term? Displacement, velocity, initial and final, time and acceleration. So which one? What is this important when it comes back to initial point? What is information given? See, when we say momentary rest means what? Momentary rest means V is equal to 0. Moment we say momentary rest means what? V is equal to 0. Similarly, coming back to initial point means what?
Here u equal to 0.
Huh?
I mean, initial velocity will be 0.
Time taken to come back to initial point. Can you visualize what will happen? See, it is moving. So it is moving. This initial value is given. How much time it will take to come back to initial point? Okay. See, you are changing the question itself. The question, is the initial velocity given as 0? No, initial velocity is not given as 0. It is given as 6 meters per second. Can you think again? What does time taken to come back to initial point mean? What does coming back to initial point mean? Where would this mean? Where would the point particle? See, can you visualize that particular instance? What is special about this particular moment of motion? See, what is special about this particular moment of motion? What is special about this point? Huh?
Sir, V is equal to 0. That means if we have to go back to the initial point, that means U is equal to 6.
No, something else. So are you following, Ananya? This, what does momentary rest mean? What is special about momentary rest? Ananya, what does momentary rest mean?
Half the time.
No. What does momentary rest word meaning of the word mean?
It's only at one instant v equal to 0.
No, rest means what? Your rest has a special meaning. What is rest meaning has?
V equal to 0.
No, velocity is 0.
Velocity
so distance traveled below. So that's why I said velocity is 0. When we come back to initial point, what does it mean? Where is the particle now? It has gone. It has come back to the same point. What does that mean? So when it comes
is again 6.
No. Okay, where does it say come back to the same point? It doesn't say it is 6. Something else. What does it mean? Displacement is 0. When it has come back to the same point, what is, suppose you go to the school and come back to home. What is your net displacement?
Same displacement will be same.
Displacement will be 0. So when time taken to come back to initial point, this is something not so difficult. I think we should learn how to interpret wordings. Displacement is 0. So what I need to find, okay, what is given indirectly, S is 0 is given. And U is given. See, whenever this is given, basically initial velocity, whatever shape it is written, you have to understand if I take, this is my first instance, initial instance, it goes like this, it comes back. This is my final instance. But when it comes back here, it will not have the same velocity. So S is 0. What else here? Time taken, I have to find T. T I have to find. And U is given and V is, U initial velocity is given as 6 and A is given as -2. Which equation should I use which has T term, S term and U and V term? Which equation out of those 3 equations? Ananya, which equation should I use here now?
S equal to ut plus half at square.
Are you able to understand why? Because this is first thing I have to understand initial point means what? It has come to same point, its position has become same. If position becomes same, is displacement is 0. If displacement is 0, S is 0. And what I need to find? I need to find time. So as I need to have equation which has given quantity and also the quantity what I need to find. I need to find T. S is 0 given. These are the given. That's why I need to use equation S equal to ut plus 1 by 2 at square. Let's put these values. Can we find this value here? Yes, we can find the value. S is equal to 0. Everything we have to substitute with sign. What is the sign here for u? U is positive. 6. Time what you have to find? Time. And why minus here? Because a is negative. Into 2 into t square. Can we find value of t now? So two values of t will get. One in this can be written as t into 6 minus t is equal to 0, which means t is equal to 0. And why are you getting two values here? Okay, at 0 also, when time is equal to 0, initial moment also the displacement is 0. Initially also it was at the same point. Any other time it was not at the same point, displacement was not 0. Again, a 6-second displacement is 0. That's the time taken to come back to the same point. 6 seconds. Which is, okay. So far all followed? Okay, one more thing we need to understand is this difference between braking and retardation. Okay, what is the difference between braking and negative acceleration? See, when we throw an object vertically up, what happens after reaching the highest point also? When you throw object vertically up, it keeps going up, slows down, and afterwards again it starts coming back. But when we apply a brake to a car, suppose car is traveling, you apply a brake. Applying brake means what? Velocity is in one particular direction, acceleration in the opposite direction. It will keep slowing down and come to a stop. Will it stop moving backwards after coming to a stop? So in case of braking, after velocity becomes 0, it remains at rest, not momentary rest. Afterwards, so it is acceleration will act, it will bring to a stop, and afterwards acceleration will become 0. Braking method, this one, it doesn't make it move, remains at rest. Whereas negative acceleration, as in case of object thrown vertically up, it can again start moving. It acts and keeps acting. It starts moving in the reverse direction. That's the difference between negative acceleration and braking. Okay. So first of all, I think this before I do more questions, both of you need to carefully go through and see that every point is understood. Which part is not clear? Dev, have you understood completely what we have done today?
Yes, sir.
Because most of it you would have done it also, but make sure that is something you understand the logic also. We have to learn how to understand, visualize what are two instances of motion, how to apply, how to use sign convention. So for every part, please go through carefully. I'll send a copy of this file. Go through every part. Everything not clear, please let me know before the session tomorrow. And we should be thorough with what we have done so far. Because this is what we have done today is very basic of 1D kinematics. And next few days we'll use this only. And in fact, in projectile motion also, even oblique projectile, same thing is used. So Ananya, be very clear. I think this is something, see, physics requires slightly different way of understanding. You need to visualize what is happening. So go through that, see that everything is clear. Ananya, any part not clear to you?
No, sir, I understood it.
And you should learn how to apply as well. Okay. So go through everything and then tomorrow we'll proceed further from here. Tomorrow we'll do more numericals. It was a quick revision of fundamentals of 1D motion, uniformly accelerated motion. So tomorrow we continue from here further. Okay. So I'll stop here and we continue from here tomorrow.
Sir, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the PDF you sent from Sunday's class now, sir.
Huh?
That PDF was a little blur, sir. The thing you wrote and the slides were overlapping, so we could not understand. I could not understand.
Okay. Anyway, I made a different period. This is I'm using Excel PowerPoint file. Today you will not have a problem.
Yes, sir.
I'll see that. I'll see wherever some overlap is there. I'll try to remove and send those things. And you should have told me that day itself, no? So I could have corrected and done something. Okay.
Yes,
So you should not wait. If there's any issue, you should let me know right away so that we can complete. We can do that.
yes, sir.
Hmm?